Hello, everyone. I am here with Chloe Woodruff. She was our big Apex winner, the inaugural race last year. So congratulations to that, Chloe.
Thank you.
And it is snowing here in Colorado, but I got a suspicion you're down in Arizona where it's nice and warm.
Yeah, it's not really the time of year to brag too much about how nice and sunny it is here, but yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Nice. Did you get a sweet training ride in today?
I did. I actually had to wear knee warmers and a wind vest, so it was pretty much winter here in Phoenix.
Let's talk some Apex. What actually sparked your interest in racing the Apex last year?
Well, a number of things. First of all, Micah had reached out to me pretty early on. I also heard about the race from Finsty. And I grew up on the Front Range of Colorado. So in some ways, I had always heard about the riding in Colorado Springs, and I had never really ridden much there. So there was, I just heard of a number of things about the race. And I think Micah was pretty persistent in reaching out to me. And then once I started to look into the courses, my interest just peaked a little bit more. And of course, 2020 was just such a crazy year. I kept wondering, is this race going to happen? Is it going to happen? And it remained on the schedule. So it was one of the biggest races I did last year. And it just felt like, I'm so grateful I had that opportunity, and it was super fun.
It was super fun. I actually got to race it myself, and it was the only race I got to do last year. So thankful as you are that we did get to race and did get to spend some time in Colorado Springs like you did. What was maybe one of the local gems that you discovered while staying in Colorado Springs? Like, what was one of those standout, like, restaurants, parks, or places of interest you got to experience?
Yeah, so I stayed along with my teammates at the bicycle lodge right in Manitou Springs. So it was the race hotel. It had just this like really awesome courtyard where everyone could gather outside. I think it was just such a great kind of hub to be able to, socialize with people outdoors. Plus there's this amazing like taco truck down the road. I can't remember the name, but it's this little Mexican food place. And I think we probably ate there 3 or 4 times. So we just get burritos to go, and they were amazing. Yeah. So Manitou is just a little gem right there. So we just had an amazing time.
And beautiful. It was so close to the start of day 2's race too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it was about 3-minute easy pedal away. So that was super nice. And then we also rode to the start of, we rode to the park as well a couple times. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. That was a funky little gem. I loved it. So you mentioned that it was probably the biggest race that you did in 2020. And obviously mountain bike stage race is way different than training for an Olympic XC course or a UCI race course. Did you have a strategy going into the Apex? Did you change it halfway through the race? How did you approach that?
Yeah, I've done a couple stage races in the past, so it's not entirely new. And luckily none of the stages were, they weren't so long that I felt like I needed to train specifically for this event. But on that note, like I think I raced it pretty smart. I was conservative, especially on stage 2, which started out with a massive climb. I actually watched, I think 4 women ride away from me, and I just kind of settled into my own pace. And luckily I was able to kind of reel everyone back in that day except Evelyn, who won the stage, by the end, which I think was about 3 hours later. So, there's a good mix of the climbing was really challenging. Racing at altitude was challenging. So the courses were challenging, but on the same token, like every day you're treated with just something that kind of just snapped you out of race mode and just you were out there having fun. Whether it was like the views you had up Gold Camp Road, or I'm spacing on the name of the lake, but, just the technical trails around the lake on stage 2. Palmer Park was super fun. So there was a good variety of terrain in there. And you don't experience that in a standard XC race. Typically, the intensity is so high, you're just kind of, you're just in the zone. So I feel like it was just, I don't know, it was a refreshing change of pace in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that lake was Rampart Reservoir, I believe.
Yep.
And it was hard not to blow up on that climb because the single track was more technical than you expected once you got up to that point.
Absolutely.
Did you have a favorite stage? And if so, what made that stage special and stand out from the others?
Probably stage 3. The day we went up Gold Camp Road, like up onto Pikes Peak, I think. And I think we just came down Jones Park. And I think what just stood out is just how classic that climb and descent are. So, you climb up there for, it might have been 2 hours. I can't even remember how long. It went on forever. But we were in a group, so we were working together early on. And then at the top, it was like, you're at such high altitude, it was almost slow motion racing. Because your attacks just they all feel pretty slow. But I just had a blast on that descent coming down. So that was by far probably my favorite part of the race. And so definitely stage 3.
It seems to be everyone's favorite. So that descent definitely erased the misery of the climb for sure.
Yeah. I think it's also you're at this point in the race where you're like, okay, I've got all the hardest climbing behind me. So, even the 4th stage, it was tough, but it was the climbs were more broken up. There's nothing too, I think, daunting to have to tackle that day.
Yeah. Well, by the end of the race, what did you learn as a racer, as a rider? What did you take away from the Apex?
Yeah, I think just being patient and trying to race efficiently pays off over the course of the stage race. So I feel like that's a lesson I've had to learn time and time again throughout my career. And lucky I was able to put the pieces together for the stage race. And and also that, you're out there and racing, but it's just a really fun weekend too. The race wasn't so consuming that you didn't have time to kind of enjoy the area, enjoy yourself. So that was a big part of it too.
Yeah, I thought it was an amazing experience, and I was super happy to see so many pro level racers come out to experience it along with us. You mentioned you rode your full suspension. Is that the bike that you would race again this upcoming year?
I'm trying to, I actually think I just rode my full suspension on, I'm trying to remember. I brought both bikes, so I thought it was actually a really cool quirk that you could choose either bike depending on the stage. So I rode both my Pivot Mach 4 SL and my Pivot Less out there. I think a full suspension bike can really help, especially on the more technical sections of the course. But there's also a lot of climbing. So, it's just I think it could go either way. Almost more important, I think, is just, the air volume in a tire you can run. So I actually raced, it was the first race I've ever done on a Maxxis 2.4 tire, which is a little higher volume. And luckily with my wheels, I can run low pressures. So.
Cool. Well, you answered my next question about tire choice. So you're digging the 2.4 Maxxis?
Yeah, I ran the 2.4 Aspen by Maxxis. I think it was a fantastic tire for out there.
So I have one more question for you, Chloe. Both of us being women in mountain bike racing, we experience all the time that there are many more men participating than there are women. And I was just curious if you had any thoughts on just tiny steps that we could take, you and me, people who are listening, to welcome more women into mountain bike racing.
I think it's just being accessible and welcoming. I mean, I've seen a lot change over the course of my career, and I feel like we're really headed in the right direction. I'm always appreciative of events that kind of put, give women, equal media attention and airtime. And I think Apex did a great job of that. And I think also just it always helps to connect with other women who share similar interests. So I know just from my experience in the sport that, even the women I race against they're some of my closest friends, and we all do, we challenge each other on the race course, absolutely, but we're all really supportive of each other as well. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. It's a competitive sport, but it's also there's this like team aspect of it that I think is often overlooked. And yeah, I think just getting the word out that there's this potential to really meet some amazing women out there. Some of the toughest, most awesome women you'll ever meet. So, so I think that's just the biggest thing is, just kind of sharing the love that we have for mountain biking. So it's for everyone.
Absolutely. I love it. And just on a quick personal note, you were one of the first to welcome me at my very first pro race at the Whiskey 50 a couple of years ago.
Oh, awesome.
So that just goes to show everyone that it is a very welcoming sport. And, if you have a question, come ask us. We're always open and ready to share and welcome you in too.
Cool. Well, I really hope to make it back this year. So are you going to race again?
I will definitely be racing again. Yes.
Okay.
And we are looking forward to having you back on the course this year.
Where do you live, if not Colorado Springs?
I'm in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. Cool. Nearby.
Yeah.
You also have good riding up there. I mean, I grew up in Boulder where there's just not much. So
yeah, we've got some great riding and some really great technical riding that has been incredible for, skills work and altitude training, because I'm originally from Missouri. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you can handle the cold as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well equipped. Cool. Hey, Chloe, thank you again for taking a few moments.
Again, I apologize that I was late, but thank you for, being patient.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. You take care.
Bye.
Bye.